Joining me now is Atiba Ellis, the Morris G. Schenker Professor of Law at Case Western Reserve University School of Law, and he's also the Associate Dean for Enrichment and Engagement. Thanks so much for being here with us. Really appreciate it. So within 48 hours of the decision, we have Louisiana delaying its primary, and now Alabama and Tennessee calling these special sessions to redraw their maps. Are you surprised how fast states have moved on this?
I'm shocked but not surprised. I think that this shows the danger that has been held back by the Voting Rights Act for decades, that without its protections, and in addition, given the Supreme Court's decision in Ruccio versus Common Cause saying that there's no federal action against partisan gerrymandering, state legislatures are free to pick their voters rather than the voters picking their legislators. The sort of storm of mid-decade redistricting designed to game the process, and in this political environment, for the Republican majority to try to preserve itself, is just heading out with no legal constraints.
It's a bit confusing because the court said back in 2019 that it can't touch partisan gerrymandering, and now it's saying states can basically defend any map by calling it political instead of racial. So basically you can gerrymander for politics, not race. I mean, how do those two rulings work together?
Well, without partisan gerrymandering, there's no claim that you can bring under the Constitution that says, hey, the Republicans are making it unfair for Democrats, or Democrats making it unfair for Republicans. Oftentimes, these things get litigated under the guise of racial gerrymandering. And as we've seen up to the court decision Wednesday, in Texas and California, those arguments were raised, and the courts had said, hey, there's not enough evidence here for us to step in. But after Wednesday's decision, which puts Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, the piece of the Voting Rights Act that was designed to prevent this, to too high of a standard. You have to show intentional discrimination, that state legislatures on purpose wanted to hurt minority voting power. Without that kind of evidence, which no legislature is going to go on the record to say, then there are basically no constraints. So bits and pieces of the law become ineffective, and the door is wide open to redistricting, as long as they call it partisan.
Yeah. The effect of this, I mean, some analyses say this could eventually put as many as 19 seats held by Black and Latino representatives at risk across the South. I mean, is that a number that you've seen, and you know, what is at stake here?
Well, 19 is a number that I've seen. I will also point out, on the other hand, that given I'm not a political scientist, and certainly how voters actually vote may shift this a bit, but the shift in representation, the likely loss of nearly 20 seats, will, in the eyes of some, reverse history, right? The Voting Rights Act guaranteed representation. It facilitated communities of color to have an active role in the political process. Undoing these rules and letting states redraw these districts for the advantage of the party that has historically not involved minorities as greatly as it could have or even should have, could basically undo what 60 years of having this law was able to do.
On the other side, I mean, you've seen Democrats sort of trying to fight back, I guess, in gerrymandering, you know, their own states, but those obviously aren't being done racially. They're just being done sort of more politically. But can that, do you think, undo some of the damage you're talking about, specifically in terms of disenfranchisement for minorities?
I mean, it is possible, right? The advantage for the Democrats is if the rules are off, and you can use gerrymandering by Republicans, the Democrats can do the same thing, right? We saw earlier this year and late last year Texas redrew its decades in the middle, it redrew its districts in the middle of the decade. California answered. Republican states, Democratic states went back and forth. So the door being open gives the opportunity for California and other Democratic states to do the same and answer the Republicans.
Yeah.
The challenge, though, is that we don't think that there's lots of people who think that isn't the way democracies should work. And that's the long-term conversation that I think we need to have.
Yeah, and crucially, obviously, it won't help any black and brown voters in those particular states that now have been affected by this redrawn maps that we're seeing in the Republican states. Listen, a super important topic. Really appreciate getting your expertise on it, Atiba Ellis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.